Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mindspeak, the place where we learn English through stories that will change your life forever. I'm Tony, your storyteller, and today I need to tell you about something incredible. Imagine this. You lose your job, your business fails, and you go into debt for 17 years. The woman you love dies in your arms. You have a mental breakdown so bad that your friends hide all the sharp objects in your house because they think you might hurt yourself. You run for political office 8 times and lose 7 of them. People call you the ugliest man they have ever seen. Newspapers mock you. Everyone laughs at you. They say you will never amount to anything. What would you do? Be honest. Would you keep trying? Or would you give up? Most people would quit after the 3rd failure, maybe the 5th. But this man failed 11 times. 11 major failures, and he never quit. And because he never gave up, he became the President of the United States. He freed 4 million people from slavery. He saved his country from breaking apart. He became one of the greatest leaders in all of human history. This is Abraham Lincoln, and his story will completely change how you see failure. Here is what you will learn today. You will discover the one sentence Lincoln said that turned all his pain into power. You will learn the secret habit that made him smarter than Harvard graduates, even though he only went to school for 18 months in his entire life. Yes, 18 months total, not 18 years. You will learn why losing his mother at age 9 actually made him stronger. You will discover why his 11 failures were actually preparing him for his greatest success. And you will learn why your biggest failure right now might be the best thing that ever happened to you. So, if you are ready to be inspired, if you are ready to see failure in a completely new way, comment number 1 right now and let's begin this incredible journey. But first, quick question. How many times have you failed this year? Keep that number in your head. By the end of this video, you will see every single one of those failures differently. Let's go. February 12, 1809. A cold winter night in Hardin County, Kentucky. Inside a tiny one-room log cabin, a baby boy was born. This cabin was so small that if you stretched your arms, you could touch both walls at the same time. It had one door, one window, dirt floor, no running water. No electricity, of course. This boy was Abraham Lincoln. His family was incredibly poor. His father, Thomas Lincoln, was a farmer and a carpenter, but he barely made enough money to survive. His mother, Nancy, was kind and gentle, but she could not read or write. They owned almost nothing. They did not even own the land their cabin sat on. When Abraham was just 7 years old, his family had to move. They lost their farm because of a land dispute. So they packed everything they owned, which was not much, and moved to the wilderness of Indiana. And when I say wilderness, I mean wilderness. There were no roads, no towns, no neighbors, just thick forest everywhere. Abraham and his father had to cut down trees with axes and build a new cabin from scratch. Abraham was only 7 years old, but he worked like a grown man. He chopped wood. He cleared land. He built fences. His hands got blisters. His back hurt, but he never complained. This was life. This was survival. Then, 2 years later, something terrible happened. Something that would scar Abraham for the rest of his life. In 1818. When Abraham was only 9 years old, his mother, Nancy, drank milk from a cow that had eaten poisonous white snakeroot plants. The poison got into the milk. Nancy became very sick. There was no doctor nearby, no medicine, no hospital. Abraham watched his mother suffer for 7 days. He held her hand. He gave her water. He prayed. But on the 7th day, Nancy Lincoln died. She was only 34 years old. Abraham was devastated. He was only 9 years old, and his mother was gone. He helped his father build her coffin. He watched them bury her on a small hill near their cabin. He stood there in the cold, feeling more alone than ever before. For a whole year, Abraham, his father, and his older sister Sarah lived in sadness. The cabin felt empty, cold, dark. But then something good happened. Abraham's father married a widow named Sarah Bush Johnston. And Sarah was amazing. She was warm. She was loving. And most importantly, she brought something into that dark cabin that changed everything. She brought books. Now, here's where Abraham's story gets really interesting. Abraham fell in love with reading, but there was a problem. In the middle of the Indiana wilderness, there were almost no books. In his entire childhood, Abraham only had access to maybe 6 or 7 books total. You know what he did? He read each book over and over again. 10 times, 20 times, 30 times. He memorized entire passages. He read by firelight at night. He read while eating breakfast. He read while walking point one time. He borrowed a book from a neighbor who lived miles away. That night, it rained and the book got wet and damaged. Abraham felt terrible. So he worked for that neighbor for 3 days to pay for the book. 3 full days of hard labor, just to pay for one damaged book. That is how much he valued learning. And school? Let me tell you about Abraham's education. In his entire childhood, from age 7 to age 21, Abraham went to school for a total of less than 18 months. Not 18 years. 18 months total. And it was not even continuous. A few weeks here, a few months there. Whenever a traveling teacher came through the area, most people would say, "This boy has no chance. He will be poor and uneducated forever." But here is what they did not understand. While other children played games, Abraham read. While other children slept in, Abraham practiced writing. He did not have paper, so he wrote with charcoal on a wooden shovel. He practiced his letters over and over. He taught himself grammar. He taught himself mathematics. He borrowed every book he could find and walked miles to get them. Sarah, his stepmother, saw something special in Abraham. She said, "Abe was the best boy I ever saw. He never gave me a cross word or look, and never refused to do anything I asked him." Abraham had a dream. He did not know exactly what it was yet, but he knew he wanted to be more than just a poor farm boy. He wanted to learn. He wanted to do something important with his life. But what Abraham did not know was that all of this struggle, all of this pain, all of this poverty was preparing him to become the person who would one day save an entire nation. Now, think about this for a second. Abraham had almost nothing. No school, no money, no opportunities. But he had books and he had determination. You, right now, have access to more information than Abraham could ever dream of. You have the internet. You have YouTube. You have libraries. You have schools. You literally have the entire world's knowledge in your pocket. Oh, I want you to comment below right now. What is your excuse? What is stopping you from learning? What is stopping you from chasing your dreams? Be honest. Write it down. Because Abraham's story is about to show you that excuses mean nothing. Okay, now we get to the really crazy part of Abraham Lincoln's life. Are you ready for this? I am going to show you Abraham Lincoln's failure resume. Yes, his resume of failures. Most people only put their successes on a resume, right? But what if we made a resume of all of Abraham's failures? Here is what it would look like. Pay attention, because this is shocking. Point 1831. Age 22. Business failed. Lost his job. Point 1832. Age 23. Ran for Illinois state legislature. Lost. People did not vote for him. Point 1833. Age 24. Started a general store with a partner. The business failed within a year. Abraham went into massive debt. It took him 17 years to pay back all that money. Every dollar he earned for 17 years went to paying off that debt. Point 1835. Age 26. He fell in love with a young woman named Anne Rutledge. She was beautiful, kind, and intelligent. Abraham wanted to marry her, but that summer, and got sick with typhoid fever. Abraham visited her every day. He held her hand. He talked to her, but and died. She was only 22 years old. Abraham was heartbroken, completely destroyed. 1836, age 27. Abraham had a total nervous breakdown. He was so depressed that he could not get out of bed. He could not eat. He could not work. His friends were so worried that they took away all knives and sharp objects from his room. They were afraid he might hurt himself. One friend said, "Lincoln was so depressed, I thought he might take his own life." Can you imagine? At age 27, Abraham was so broken that people feared for his life. 1838, age 29. He recovered from his depression and decided to try politics again. He ran for Speaker of the Illinois House of Representatives. He lost. 1843, age 34. Ran for United States Congress. Lost. 1846, age 37. Ran for Congress again. Finally, he won. Success at last. He served one term in Congress. He worked hard. He spoke against slavery. He thought his career was finally taking off. But 2 years later, when he ran for re-election, he lost. The people did not want him anymore. 1849, age 40. Applied for a job as land officer. Rejected. They said number. 1854, age 45. Ran for United States Senate. Lost. 1856, age 47. Ran for Vice President of the United States. Lost. He got almost no votes. 1858, age 49. Ran for United States Senate again. Lost again. He was defeated by Stephen Douglas in a race that everyone was watching. Let me count that for you. That is 11 major failures. 11 times that Abraham tried and failed. 11 times that people said no to him. 11 times that he was rejected. And I have not even mentioned all the small failures. All the times people mocked him. All the times newspapers called him ugly. All the times he doubted himself. People said terrible things about him. One newspaper called him a horrid-looking wretch. Another said he was the ugliest man in America. Political opponents said he looked like a gorilla. They said he was too awkward, too strange, too poor, too uneducated to ever be important. After losing the Senate race in 1858, Abraham was crushed. He wrote to a friend and said, "I am now the most miserable man living. If what I feel were equally distributed to the whole human family, there would not be one cheerful face on the earth." Read that again. The most miserable man living. Those were his own words. Now be honest. If you failed 11 times, would you keep trying? After losing elections, losing businesses, losing the woman you loved, losing your mental health, would you still have the strength to keep going? Most people would not. Most people would quit after 3 failures. Maybe 5. But 11? 11 is insane. But here is where Abraham Lincoln became different from everyone else. Here is where he became legendary. After all those failures, after all that pain, Abraham said something that changed everything. He said, "I am a slow walker, but I never walk back." Let me say that again. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. He did not say, "I am fast." He did not say, "I never fail." He said, "I am slow, but I never go backwards." He accepted that he was not perfect. He accepted that progress was hard. But he made one promise to himself: never quit, never go back, always move forward. That one sentence became his philosophy for life. And it changed everything. Drop a fire emoji right now if that just hit your soul. Now I want you to do something. Think about your biggest fear right now. Think about the thing that makes you want to quit. The thing that feels too hard. The dream that feels impossible. I want you to comment below. Write it down. What is your biggest fear? What is stopping you? Write it. Make it real. Because by the end of this video, you're going to see that fear differently. Now, here's what Abraham did not know in 1858, when he was the most miserable man living. He did not know that in just 2 years, everything would change. He did not know that his 11 failures were actually preparing him for the biggest success of his life. He did not know that in 1860, he would become the President of the United States. 1860, Abraham Lincoln made one more decision. He decided to run for President of the United States. People thought he was insane. They said, "You have lost 7 elections. You have no money. You are not handsome. You are not famous. You have no chance." But Abraham had 3 things that were more powerful than money or fame. He had honesty. People called him Honest Abe because he always told the truth. He had a powerful message. All people should be free. Slavery is wrong. And he had perseverance. He had failed 11 times, and he was still standing up. On November 6, 1860, America voted, and against all odds, Abraham Lincoln won. He became the 16th President of the United States, the poor farm boy from a one-room cabin, the man with only 18 months of formal education, the man who failed 11 times. He was now the most powerful person in America. Can you imagine that moment? Can you imagine how he felt? All those years of failure, all that pain, all those people who laughed at him, and now he was president. But here's the truth. Becoming president was not the happy ending. It was just the beginning of the hardest challenge of his life. Because just 6 weeks after Abraham became president, on April 12, 1861, the American Civil War began. The country exploded into violence. America split into 2 parts, the North versus the South, the Union versus the Confederacy. Brother fought against brother. Father fought against son. It was the bloodiest, most terrible war in American history. Over 600,000 soldiers died in the Civil War. That is more American deaths than World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, and the Iraq War combined. 600,000 lives lost. And Abraham Lincoln had to lead the country through all of it. Every single day, Abraham made life or death decisions. Every single day, he received reports of thousands of soldiers dying. Every single day, he carried the weight of 31 million people on his shoulders. The pressure was unimaginable, and people hated him. Half the country wanted him dead. He received death threats every single day. Assassins plotted to kill him. His own military generals did not respect him. Politicians from his own party called him weak. Newspapers called him a dictator and a tyrant. Abraham barely slept. For hours a night, maybe less. He developed terrible headaches and depression, but he never stopped working. He visited hospitals to talk to wounded soldiers. He read every battle report personally. He wrote letters to the families of soldiers who had died. One soldier who met Lincoln said, "I saw the president, and his face looked like he carried the suffering of the whole nation on it." But through all of this pain, Abraham never forgot his purpose. He knew why he was fighting this war. It was not just to keep the country together. It was to end slavery, to free millions of people who were treated like property. On January 1st, 1863, Abraham did something that changed the world forever. He signed the Emancipation Proclamation with one signature, with one document. He declared that all slaves in Confederate states were now free. 4 million people. 4 million human beings who had been enslaved, who had been beaten, who had been bought and sold like animals, were now free. Think about that for a second. 4 million people. Their lives changed because one man who failed 11 times never gave up on his beliefs. The Emancipation Proclamation did not end the war. The fighting continued for 2 more brutal years. More death, more suffering, more pain, Abraham aged 20 years in just 4 years of presidency. His face became thin. His eyes became hollow. His hair turned gray. But finally, on April 9, 1865, the Confederate Army surrendered. The war was over. The North had won. America would stay one united country, and slavery was ending forever. Abraham Lincoln had done the impossible. He had saved the United States of America. He had kept the country from breaking apart, and he had freed 4 million people. The man who failed 11 times had just achieved the greatest success in American history. Drop a fire emoji if you feel inspired right now. But here's the most beautiful part of this story. You know what Abraham said about all his failures? Years later, he wrote this: "My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure." Let me read that again. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. He did not care if you failed. Everyone fails. He only cared about one thing. Did you give up? Did you accept your failure as the end? Or did you keep fighting? Abraham understood something that most people never learn. Every failure he experienced, every rejection, every loss, every moment of pain was preparing him for this moment. If he had won his first election, he never would have developed the thick skin he needed to handle the hatred during the Civil War. If his business had succeeded, he never would have learned humility. If in Rutledge had lived, he might never have developed the deep empathy he showed to soldiers and slaves. His failures were not obstacles. They were training. They were preparation. They were building him into the person he needed to be. S.O. here is the truth, my friend. Your failures are not stopping you. They are preparing you. Every no you hear is making you stronger. Every rejection is teaching you something. Every loss is building your character. Your failures are not the end of your story. They are just the middle. The best part is still coming. So what can we learn from Abraham Lincoln's incredible life? What lessons can we take from the boy who failed again and again, but never gave up? Let me give you 5 powerful lessons. Get your pen ready. Write these down. Lesson number 1. Failure is data, not destiny. Abraham Lincoln failed 11 times. But here is what he understood. Each failure gave him information. Each loss taught him something new. When he lost elections, he learned what messages did not work with voters. When his business failed, he learned about money and debt. When he suffered depression, he learned about mental strength and resilience. Your failures are not proof that you cannot succeed. They are data. They are feedback. They are lessons. Use them. Learn from them. Let them make you better. Lesson number 2. Your beginning does not determine your ending. Abraham was born in a one-room cabin. His family was poor. He had 18 months of total schooling. By every measure, he should have stayed poor and unknown his entire life. But he did not let his start define his finish. He taught himself. He worked hard. He never stopped learning. He changed his destiny. Where you start in life does not matter. What matters is where you decide to go. Your past does not control your future. You do. Lesson number 3. Slow progress is still progress. Remember Lincoln's quote, "I am a slow walker, but I never walk back." He did not run. He did not sprint. He walked slowly, but he never stopped. He never went backwards. And that slow, steady walk took him all the way to the White House. You do not need to be fast. You do not need to succeed immediately. You just need to keep moving forward, one step at a time, one day at a time, one small victory at a time. Slow progress is still progress. Just do not stop. Lesson number 4. Education is not about schools. It is about commitment. Abraham had less than 18 months of formal schooling in his entire life, but he became one of the most educated, most intelligent presidents in American history. How? He never stopped learning. He read every book he could find. He taught himself law. He memorized speeches and documents. He learned every single day of his life that in today's world. You have access to unlimited information. You have YouTube. You have Google. You have online courses. You have libraries. You have everything that Abraham never had. So what is your excuse? Learn something new every single day. Read. Watch educational videos. Take courses. Never stop growing your mind. Lesson number 5. Your purpose must be bigger than your pain. Abraham Lincoln suffered more than most people can imagine. He lost his mother at age 9. He lost a woman he loved at age 26. He failed 11 times. He led a nation through a war that killed 600,000 people. He dealt with depression and constant criticism. The pain was enormous, but his purpose was bigger. He believed slavery was wrong. He believed America should stay united. He believed in freedom and equality. His purpose gave him strength when the pain tried to break him. You need to find your purpose. What do you believe in? What cause is bigger than yourself? What dream is worth fighting for? When you find your purpose, nothing can stop you. Not failure, not criticism, not pain, nothing. Here is the ultimate truth about Abraham Lincoln. He was not special because he never failed. He was special because he failed 11 times and kept going. He was not a superhero. He was a normal person who made one decision. I will never give up, and you can make that same decision right now. Today, in this moment, you can decide that no matter how many times you fail, you will keep trying. No matter how many people say no, you will keep going. No matter how hard it gets, you will never walk back. That is the power of persistence. That is the power of never giving up. That is the power that changed Abraham Lincoln from a poor farm boy into the man who saved America. And that power is inside you too. You just have to choose to use it. So here is my challenge for you today, my friend. Right now, in the comments below, I want you to do something powerful. I want you to write down one thing. Just one thing. What is the dream you will never give up on? Maybe it is learning English fluently. Maybe it is starting a business. Maybe it is getting a better job. Maybe it is losing weight or getting healthy. Maybe it is healing a relationship. Maybe it is writing a book or making music or traveling the world. Whatever it is, write it down right now. Comment it below. Say, I will never give up on, and finish that sentence. When you write it down, you make it real. When you share with others, you make commitment. And when you make a commitment, something changes inside you. You become stronger. You become more focused. You become unstoppable. I will read every single comment. I promise you. And I will be cheering for you. We are all in this together. Your success is my success. Your dreams matter. If this story inspired you today, if Abraham Lincoln's journey touched your heart, please hit that like button right now. It helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. Subscribe to MindSpeak and turn on the notification bell because we have more incredible stories coming. Stories that will help you learn English and transform your life at the same time. Share this video with someone who needs inspiration today. Maybe your friend is struggling. Maybe your family member wants to give up. Send them this story. Remind them that failure is not the end. Remember Abraham Lincoln's powerful words, I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. Keep walking forward, my friend. Your breakthrough is coming. Your success is closer than you think. Just do not give up. I am Tony. This is MindSpeak, where we learn, grow, and inspire each other every single day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being part of this community. Now go out there and chase your dreams. The world is waiting for you. I will see you in the next story. Until then, stay strong, stay focused, and never, ever, ever give up. Goodbye, my friends. 3 bonus quotes to Abraham Lincoln. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. My great concern is not whether you failed, but whether you are content with your failure. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other thing.